Theme song. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there, episode 293. I had to look where I was looking in order to see the exact number of episodes I've done. And, you know, there's also the bonus episodes and then some other things that have just not come out. So maybe this is not exactly 293. Maybe I lost count at some point. There have been moments where I lost count. It sounds like I'm distracted right now, and I am. I am trying to find a fifth story. I like to have 5 stories for this show, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have anything. 293. He was coming. Hey, listen. We are here. The Valhalla PGA Tour Championship is ongoing. I got the TV on in the background. If you hear light, polite clapping in the background, or Free Scotty going on, you'll know exactly what's on television. Although I'm not watching the Scotty Scheffler group. I was watching that since 10 a.m. and then around 3 p.m. Hulu crashed on my television, and I moved over to Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. This means nothing right now in the future, and I try not to date these episodes. So here we are. I'm recording on time is very important. I did not see a movie today. I did. The only movie that came out this week was If, and I'm not, again, I'm dating this movie. I have no interest in watching that movie in theaters. I will not posture. I will not put on a front. Yeah, posturize. The movie is on my watch list on Atom Tickets, which is my movie ticket buying platform, and I have the AMC app too when I need to activate things. But the earliest time, first, there are a lot of issues with If. I didn't want to see If, mostly because there's not a lot of people of color in it. We talk, like, if you've been listening to this show, you know my main issue with a lot of shows and movies right now is that the lack of people of color in these movies. And you can say, oh, you know, Aquafina is in it, and who else is in it? Let me see if I can find it. You say Aquafina is in it, and Louis Gossett Jr. is in it, but everything in Maya Rudolph and Michael Key. The fact that I'm counting is just like I can go 4. There's 4 people of color in it. The fact that I'm counting is a big issue. But one of my main concerns about the movie is that in all of the promotional things for the movie, all I ever saw was directed by John Krasinski, starring Ryan Reynolds, and featuring Steve Carell and Emily Blunt, George Clooney, and Bradley Cooper, and Brad Pitt. And the only people that they were talked about were the mega famous white people. If you feature other people, then maybe let's focus on them too a little bit. So I will wait for that to come to streaming. I'm surprised it even has people of color in it. You heard me. Oh, Alan Kim is in it. He's the young man from Minari. See, I didn't see any of those people in any of the trailers. If I can watch a trailer and go, oh boy, where are the people? Then that's an issue. Just be different, differentiated. So the next movie I will see in theaters, I think, and it's another movie I have. I'm very tied up on, is whether or not I should even watch it in theaters. Is Furiosa: A Mad Max Saga? Now, Anya Taylor-Joy is Argentinian, so that technically does make her a person of color. I believe Argentinians are people of color, but that means she's Latina, right? Oh, she's married? Honey, you're 28. Come on. I don't want to blow up the spot. Her mother was born in Zambia. Okay. Doesn't mean anything. Oh, she's a quarter Spanish. Her father's of Argentine and English, Argentine of English and Scottish descent. Oh, she's white. And she's an Anglo-Argentine mother. Yeah, she's white. Anyway, I don't know what I was going to say. What the heck was I going off about? Anyway, there's, are there no people of color in Australia? Come on, I know there's a ton. They're called Aboriginals, and the white people are horribly racist against them. Like this, I don't know. See, I don't understand if I should see this movie in theaters or not. Then after that, obviously the Garfield movie. I'll be seeing that in theaters. Oh, and obviously Hitman, starring Glenn Powell. What else is on my list? Oh, I like doing this. What else is on my list? After that, I'm scrolling through Adam. See, not a lot of these movies will play in AMC or my local Landmark theater. Oh, I know what I was going to say. There are some celebrities that go to my gym, and one of them is Millie Bobby Brown, and she is, upon doing some Wikipedia searching, she is like 22 years old, and she's engaged, or she's 20 years old, and she's engaged to John Bon Jovi's son, and that kid is 22, I believe. So they were, or 21, and I don't know. And they were engaged when he was 20 and she was 19. Hey, the Muppet movie is going to be in theaters on June 2nd, 2024. Not anywhere near me. Fine. And a movie called Jesus Thirsts, The Miracle of the Eucharist. Okay, I'm fine. Where are the movies? Lord of the Rings is back in theaters. Okay, so Inside Out 2 will be June 14th. That movie's about anxiety. All right, let's move on. I'm done with this. No, I'm not. I'm still scrolling. Okay, I'm done. All right, let's get on to the first story. I'll tell you right now, 3 of these stories are from last week. But this first one's not. This first one comes from The Verge, written by Emma Roth. Roku will start to stream live MLB games for free. Roku is going to be the exclusive streaming home of Major League Baseball's Sunday leadoff games, starting with the St. Louis Cardinals and Boston Red Sox on May 19th, which is 2 days from now. The game, as of this recording, the games will air live on the Roku channel. No subscription or sign required. This is a big bet and a big swing. God, I should not have said that. This is a big turn into sports. For Roku, for any streaming service. I remember, wasn't it last year that Apple had MLB games for free on Friday nights? They had Friday night games, 2023 free. And I believe you just had to, on April 7th of last year. Wait, excuse me. Yeah. Watching MLB on Apple TV Plus will require a subscription. And at the beginning of 2020, at the end of 2023, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so the Friday night games were required a subscription, but before that they did not. This is big news, especially since it's free. And previously you could only watch the Roku channel on Roku devices, but now within the past, I guess, year or so, several months, you were able to watch. You could download the Roku app on your Google TV, Amazon Fire devices, Samsung TVs, and watch games and watch everything there. You can watch whatever free thing they offer there, which is mostly. Let me see. I think they picked up a lot of Quibi stuff. You can watch Two Broke Girls. I'm on it right now. Heartland. Alfred Hitchcock Presents How to Train Your Dragon. Okay. Home Improvement. The Rockford Files. Bones. Leave It to Beaver. SNL. Wait, what? Free with ads. Oh, it's clips. Interesting. And then they have vintage SNL. Oh, so they must have like an SNL channel. Let me sign in and see what else you can look at. This, I mean, I like this idea. Good for them. All I have to do is download the app. I will tell you right now. Oh, and they also have the Great American Baking Show, if you like that. The Great American Bake Off, whatever. It's got Paul and Prue and the two judges, as well as Ellie Kemper and Zach Cherry. So, you know, when that show was originally brought back on ABC, or when it originally aired on ABC, the American version, they had Baby Spice and the football player whose name I am completely forgetting, but that shows you how much that really mattered. And also, it wasn't good when it was on ABC. But I will say this: it's the same show now on it's the same as the English show rather on Roku. I'm having the darndest time trying to get the Roku channel signed in. This is ridiculous. Just sign in and let me see what I can watch. Okay, the Great British Baking Show is also on there, so if you want to watch that too. Toast of Tinseltown. Let me see what's on my save list. Celebrity British Bake Off is on there. Mapleworth Murders, written by Paula Pell, is on there. And also starring John Lutz. Well, I don't know if it's written by Paula Pell, but starring Paula Pell and John Lutz. Die Hard. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there, and some of it comes from Quibi. The show Go On, starring Matthew Perry's on there. I think that show's great. I think it's a very funny show. I closed the story by accident. Apple TV Plus already airs Friday Night Baseball games, but you have to pay $9.99 for that, which I spoke about. Netflix is also getting into streaming sports. They've got WWE coming soon. Peacock is losing WWE. Max is doing... I don't know what's going to happen with the basketball, but right now they have basketball, hockey, whatever they air on True TV, TNT, and TBS, and baseball. Amazon, Peacock, Paramount Plus. They've got live NFL games, and then of course the new streaming service that was announced as of yesterday. I believe. Let me check the email for it. The name was announced. It is called Venue, VENU Sports, Venue Sports, from Fox, Warner Brothers, and Disney. Still on track to launch this fall, and they're also ABC. Disney is still doing ESPN streaming too. So you're gonna have a way to watch sports wherever you want to watch them, but it's still gonna cost you so much money. I was on LinkedIn earlier today, and I was gonna make a joke, but now I'm not going to. The Athletic posted something that said that there was like a picture of all the ways to watch sports. NFL is all the ways to watch NFL. So you can watch NFL on Peacock, Amazon, and what else did I say? And Paramount Plus. So that's getting the lowest prices of all those would be Amazon would be $9 a month if you just pay for video and not for the shopping. Peacock would be I think $10. They got rid of the $6 one. And then Paramount Plus is $6 or something like that, $8, something like that. And then NFL Sunday Ticket, and what else? What else is how else do you watch sports? But anyway, it totaled out to be like $145. So would you pay $145 per month? Was the question to watch every NFL game? That's including the Sunday Ticket. Crazy. All right, this next one comes from Axios, written by Sarah Fisher. Exclusive. Vice Media partners with Savage Ventures to relaunch digital brands. Vice is back, baby. Last Thursday, it said it'll create a joint venture with Nashville-based Savage Ventures to relaunch its digital properties, including Vice.com, Munchies, Motherboard, and Noisy. This comes after the massive layoffs they had in February, and basically they said, hey, Vice is done. They were just going to focus on video stuff. And as of right now, I go to Vice.com. I'm not seeing a lot of stories. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 stories that have been published today. And then prior to that, the latest story was April 26th. I was going to say February 26th. April 26th. So Vice is back again. This is the site you cannot kill. The deal will see Savage Ventures investing, quote, tens of millions of dollars into the joint venture, a Vice spokesperson said. The investment marks the first effort by Vice Media to substantially reinvest in its digital brands following a bankruptcy buyout last year that saw the elimination of hundreds of roles, consolidation of departments, and cancellation of news shows. The new partnership gives Vice Media branding control over its digital assets without having to manage them day to day. The structure will allow Vice Media to focus more on its B2B franchises, such as Vice Studios Group, Vice TV, and advertising agency Virtue. I had no clue Vice TV was still around. The joint venture will also, I don't mean like still around, like it's, like, oh, it's been a couple of years, it's still around. I knew it was still on. You can watch it on the website. You can watch it on Hulu with live TV, Fubo, I think. But I'm saying, like, as soon as those layoffs happened, I thought they would just shutter Vice TV. The joint venture will also relaunch Vice's social media channels. The combined portfolio, the firm says, has, quote, nearly 100 million followers across platforms. The deal does not include the digital assets of Vice News. In a statement, the company said it will continue to have strategic discussions with leading global news organizations to amplify the company's long-form news and documentary content. The thing is, I think Vice, for what it is, for what it's worth, as a news outlet, as a new age news outlet too, that modernized, bringing things like topics like drugs, even though I do think that they were a little bit sophomoric with some of the stuff. Drugs and sex and gender and war and hate speech and race and so many topics that companies like Fox and CNN and MSNBC and ESPN and broadcast networks and a lot, maybe even sometimes Associated Press, and even Axios itself, sometimes those places skirt around Vox. Yeah, Vox too. Vice really jumped into the fray. And again, like I said, whether it was sophomoric or not, it was still, they brought those topics to the forefront. And that's something that I think Vice should really focus on, as opposed to, I mean, their music coverage on Noisy was great and Motherboard is good. But everything that they did on Vice.com is much more, and with the shows with Vice News, everything like that is much more important than what they write now, because people will watch anything. Though Vice on YouTube.com has every video has so many views. I was gonna say 1 million views, but that's not true. But every video has so many views, and even when they post a video about wrestling, they'll get 1.5 million views. Like let me see, they posted the green rush to Colorado's multi-billion-dollar weed industry, an episode of Weedakit that got 344,000 views 2 weeks ago, over the last 2 weeks. They had a video called "I Was the Highest Paid Dancer at America's #1 Strip Club" under the "I Was There" banner. That has 1.1 million views. And see, if they're able to continue, if they have the funding to continue putting out great documentaries that cover things that you don't see often, like can weed help kids with autism, then maybe things will be much better for them. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to run. I guarantee you make me principal for a day at Warner Brothers, I will turn that ship around and people will be like, make this guy principal for life. But you put me at Vice, I don't think I could run that company because it's had so many ups and downs. Vice is important, and I think it needs to continue to exist. And I'm so glad Savage Ventures can jump in and help out, but they're also going to need more capital because they can't. As soon as that money line runs out, then what's going to happen? Savage Ventures also manages a slew of digital-first brands, including Outdoors.com, 247health.com, and AmericasSongwriter.com. Of course, they're going to try to boost those brands with the Vice brand, by using the Vice brand. Anyway. All right, let's move on. This next one comes from Variety, written by Todd Spangler, comedy podcast led by the Joe Rogan Experience. Okay. Comedy. Gained ad market share in 2023 as overall U.S. spending cooled. Podcast ad revenue in the United States, after 7 years of double-digit growth, has hit a slowdown in 2023, with overall ad spending increasing 5% to $1.93 billion, according to a new report. This report comes from research conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers for the Interactive Advertising Bureau. The 2023 revenue number was well off the previous forecast. You know, it's with ads and podcasting, prior to the world of, you know, Conan O'Brien. I'm gonna take Joe Rogan out of this because he's been doing his show for longer than Conan has. But take the world of Conan out of it, and Smartless, and even Dax Shepard, and the Office ladies, and other shows along those lines. Podcasting was never making any sort of money. If you followed a podcast like Never Not Funny, or if you followed networks like Earwolf or Forever Dog, then you knew that, like, who they were, and there was never, you know, enough money to always be. There was enough money to move forward, but there was never enough money to eclipse the world of television and traditional radio and things along those lines. But people were always, you know, making enough. And then you see this boom because of this shift where A-listers are going to podcasting because they go, because one of them was offered a $10 million to do a show. Whereas, you know, there's other people out there who are making six figures, and that's what they've had to live on. And they've had to advertise their own show or do their own marketing and find the companies like Harry's before Harry's was big, and find the companies like not BarkBox. What's the one? Blue Apron before that was big. Before that goes to the stock exchange. Before Chad loses money on Blue Apron. Advertising is right now where people are trying to avoid ads in their shows, and ads are getting a lot more expensive because the likes of Ford are heading to Smartless and heading to Conan O'Brien's Needs a Friend. There's optimism for a bounce back in 2024. The U.S. podcast ad market is projected to return to double-digit growth, increasing 12% to $2.16 billion. Further developments in programmatic ad buying, along with new revenue streams from video and live events, are expected to help drive growth. Joe Rogan led the number one podcast spot. He led the comedy podcast section in 2023, gaining market share, overtaking sports as the biggest content genre by spending. Comedy represented 17% of U.S. podcast ad revenue, which is up from 14% in 2022, followed by sports at 13%, down from 15% in 2022. The next biggest genres were news at 12%, society and culture at 11%, and true crime at 6%. Holding 3% were television and film, business, health and fitness, and history. I wonder, to me, obviously comedy and sports are, the biggest ones, the biggest draws, and it's because there's no subgenres when it comes to these type of things, and that, I mean, I guess in the end it really doesn't matter, but I wonder what the drive besides A-listers, because that is a big thing. Hey, Jason Bateman's doing a podcast with Will Arnett and guy from Will and Grace, not John Cryer. I guess Sean something. I can see it in my head. I can see it in my head. I can see it in my internet. Sean Hayes. But, it's, or the Always Sunny guys. You can see that, like, those are, you can see that every one of them is doing a podcast. They're doing recaps. They're talking to their rich, famous friends. But I wonder what else outside of that, outside of A-listers coming in and doing their own shows, was the draw for listeners. Was it because they were looking for something outside of music to enjoy? Or is it just a way to have, a lot like you watch YouTube to get close to people? Is it a way to hear that person talk for another couple of hours a week? It's, I'm gonna who am I gonna pick? If Meghan Markle's doing a podcast and she's one of the most famous women in the world. Michelle Obama's doing a podcast. She's one of the most famous women in the world, and she's telling the story of this, or she's just shooting the breeze. Then maybe I should listen to it, and that's going to be something I listen to all the time. Because I was always somebody I've been listening to podcasts for years. I remember my very first one. My very first two, actually, because I started listening to them at the same time. It was the one from Rooster Teeth, and then the other one from Chris Hardwick. And then I quickly moved off of those when I found other ones. But do those shows for me, I've always stuck with podcasts, and I find it very difficult to find not to find a new one, but to listen to new ones. I've got a groove. I've got my ones. I got my news. I've got my the 3 comedy ones I listen to, and I'm done. Is golf still on? I don't know. I think the TV turned off. But what for people? I hear a bird tweet. But what for people makes them want to continue listening to shows? Who knows? But speaking of those shows, maybe they come from famous influencers. Maybe like Logan Paul, maybe like Mr. Beast. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Alex Weprin. From Mr. Beast to Logan Paul, why Wall Street is infatuated with influencers. Venture firms are luring digital megastars with $100 million deals to expand their brands outside YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. If you love people like Mr. Beast, you might as well love his chocolate that you can only buy at Walmart. The Feastables line. He has 252 million plus subscribers, and he's building real world businesses like the Feastables line. He had a burger joint, or he had a ghost. Somebody provided ghost kitchens for his burger concept, and the burgers were not good, and he's suing. I want to get that on the line. I'm also whistling. I don't want to get the facts wrong. I don't subscribe to Mr. Beast. I have seen a lot of his videos, but I also think it's important that his name is not ruined because of some idiot with bad burgers. Feastables brings in 9 figures annually. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. And Logan Paul also has Prime. Here's the thing. I didn't know what Prime was until it's May. So until the fall of last year, I'm riding my bike down the Beltline Trail here in Atlanta, and I see like a plastic bottle on the ground. It says Prime on it, And I go, oh, that must be some type of new sports drink, because I just assume it's a colorful thing. It was blue, and it's a very specific thing because I didn't know what it was. And then cut to like weeks later, I'm at the park, Piedmont Park, and I see more of those bottles, either in trash cans or people or have left them on the ground. Which, based on the clientele, those are people that will still litter. And yeah, anyway, clientele are teenagers. But then it took me so I didn't see it until fall of 2023. And then it took until winter of 2023. This is like no hyperbole, no joke, because I don't know why I would hyperbolize this. Until I was watching something, and somebody made a reference, or I was reading something and somebody made a reference, or listening, I don't know. I was enjoying some type of media, and somebody referenced Logan Paul's, they said Prime and Logan Paul, and then there was like a news story about how bad it was, like the caffeine for kids. It might have been a news story. That's what I probably saw. But like there's like caffeine or something in it. And I went, oh, that's his business. That makes sense. That's why people are throwing it on the ground. They're dragging it up and just tossing it on the ground. They're probably going to that Japanese suicide forest and peeing all over the place. He went to that forest and shot a video. And anyway, I hope Mike Tyson puts him in a coma. That's not a joke. The creator economy is no longer some nascent curiosity. It has become a legitimately big business. Goldman Sachs analyst Eric Sheridan estimates it's a $250 billion market, one that will grow to nearly $500 billion by 2027. And while platform and direct advertising is still a bulk of that, many popular creators are branching out and thinking about building real businesses off of YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, hoping to leverage the relationship they have with subscribers in the process. Some private equity firms are jumping in the business. Consider Highmount Capital's recent $100 million investment in YouTube trickshot stars Dude Perfect, and where Dude Perfect is building their own Disneyland of sorts, their own amusement park. It's going to have live experiences. They're going to have destinations. They're going to have consumer products. I thought Dude Perfect was already pretty big, especially considering that, they're building their own amusement park. But besides that, they had, TV shows and they're one of the few YouTubers that I would see, or excuse me, influencers, media personalities that you would see on television talking about what they do. They're also, I got to say it, I'm not somebody who, again, I don't subscribe to them, but I have seen a lot of their videos. I like what they have to say. They're very smart. They're always family friendly. I just watched an interview with them a couple of weeks ago talking about how they made the choice to be it faith-based, but they always chose to remain family friendly, and I think that's very special and important, especially when it comes to YouTube. And they're not loud. They're not screaming for no reason. I just want to see them shoot a basketball off the Empire State Building and into a pool. I like that stuff. It's fun. The influence is real. They've got a Dude Perfect branded beverage, $9.99. Some locations, which drew lines to Smoothie King this year. Logan Paul's Prime, which is Prime Hydration, and it competes with Gatorade, and Prime Energy, which competes with Red Bull. Oh, so that must be what the thing is. What Prime Energy is what kids are buying, but Prime Hydration is what I see all the time. Anyway, Bloomberg says it will top $1.2 billion in sales this year. The connection between creators and audience can drive real revenue. That is so friggin' dumb. Oh my gosh. The reason why they're raging out is like let's not just the money factor, but imagine doing everything on YouTube and you make one slip up and you lose, your subscribers, you lose your advertisers. Having something outside of YouTube can be a savior. Or, what if people just get tired of your shtick, your brand? You have to be able to fall back on something else. If people are like, okay, we're done seeing Mr. Beast and his friends scream and the editing is too crazy and wild. It is. and the editing is too out there, and we're tired of this. And he loses subscribers. You know, he goes from 252 million down to 52 million or whatever, and he sees a sizable difference in that. But his chocolate brand is still doing well, and his tours of, I don't know, cruise ships, if that's not something he does, but like his tours of cruise ships are doing well, then so be it. That's where the real money is. Doug DeMuro, who is a guy I subscribe to, had that same idea. He says, even in the early days of making a good living on YouTube, I was thinking about branching out and trying to create a business that I could bring my audience to separate from the algorithm. The result of that was Cars and Bids, which is a platform where you can buy cars. You can put up your own car and say, hey, this is for auction, and then you can buy it. Peter Chernon's The Chernin Group invested $37 million into the business, taking a majority stake in Cars and Bids, as well as DeMuro's YouTube channels. The pool of creators with an audience large enough and loyal enough to support a business may be smaller than people think, but the exuberance in the space from private equity and investors looking for an edge needs to be fed. People love supporting the people that they love watching on YouTube. And this week it was announced that from Nielsen that YouTube is in the behind Netflix, took up 10% of television viewing last year, which is no joke, which is huge. That's gigantic. People are on television, so watching YouTube on TV, not YouTube TV, watching YouTube on TV. People sitting on their couches, popping open their TV app, be it on a regular TV, Chromecasting it, Chromecast with Google TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, whatever. People are watching YouTube on their regular televisions. And it makes sense because I'm looking at a car wow video that is 18 minutes and 42 seconds. You don't want to sit hunched over in front of your laptop or your phone. You want to get out, you want to sit on the couch and get some popcorn and go, oh, look at them. They're going to race a Land Cruiser versus a Range Rover. Off-road race. The creator economy is still going strong. And even though I did say that the podcasting was down a little bit, that projection is going to go up. So are outside businesses from YouTubers and Instagrammers and TikTokers. Although, isn't an Instagrammer a TikToker? All right, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where we've got interviews with your favorite entertainment people. The interview coming out after this will be Kate Willett. She's a comedian, and she has a new special out. And I'm not stalling because I accidentally closed my email, the C Plus Comedy email. But she has a new special out called Loopholes. It came out this past April. I don't want to say the date. It came out April 23rd. I had so many interviews stacked up that I had to wait till today to put this one out. So April 23rd, you can buy it wherever you get your specials, including Apple TV and Prime Video. But if you listen to interviews I do, you can listen to me talk about that in a second. In the episode, I'm going to record the full disclosure. I'm recording the intro to that now. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to jump right into that. So I get to hear this theme song 3 more times or 2 more times. You can follow, if you want to watch a video version of the interviews, you can head on over to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can go to cpluscomedy.com. That's where you can watch everything. youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also watch video versions of this show, as well as the other podcasts, including LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show. You can subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C Plus Comedy. You can follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. And cpluscomedy.com is where you can find everything. Everything I've done and everything I will do. The name is stupid, and so am I. Okay, deuces.